How can you overcome rejection by your crush? Or how about being cheated on? Or being ghosted and deleted from someone else's life without any explanations? If you recently went through a very painful breakup but still unable to heal this nagging pain inside you, this video is for you. Many people have experienced hurtful romantic relationships, breakups, cheating, divorces, but the way you were left by someone can differ significantly. If you are lucky, your person will gently explain their reason for wanting distance. They might say to you we're incompatible and it's best for everyone to explore alternative paths, but they still cherish you deeply and loved every moment spent with you. They show you respect and genuine care and most likely will keep a friendly contact if possible. If you aren't that lucky, they just text you or send you an email saying that, sorry, I would like to end it, please accept it. In the worst case scenario, they just ghost you and disappear completely without any explanations, and you are left in a limbo state. But why is it so painful to face romantic rejection? Even if your person was nice to you, it still hurts. The thing is, for the one who left you, that's not a surprise. They've planned this outcome. They went through it in their head, in their heart. But for you, it's a completely new situation and a very unpleasant one. It's a gift you didn't want. The one who suddenly left you, especially in the case of ghosting or some vague WhatsApp messages, didn't allow a proper separation process to take place. They simply cut all ties with you. They didn't tell you you were important to me or it was too difficult for me to be with you. They didn't thank you. They didn't express any feelings. They simply got out of contact. The power and control are in their hands, and you became objectified, treated as a thing that can be thrown away like rubbish. This is a very insecure position. It's very agonizing and helpless. And yes, you're trying to regain your subjectivity, you're trying to find your worth again, but all you feel is being a nobody. And for you, the mechanism of unfinished business is at place. You're just forced to accept the situation in which there's no closure. And all your attempts to find closure alone, they don't really work because your relationships were about two people, not just about you. Romantic abandonment can cause various emotions. You may cry, miss them, be sad, angry, regret. You may blame yourself. You might send a nasty or apologetic or begging text to the one who left you. You may endlessly talk to them inside your head. You become totally focused on the person who left you. Your achievements are dedicated to them. Your failures are dedicated to them. Again, this is a very exhausting position to constantly seek that person's validation, hoping for their sorry message, for their I want you back. By doing this, you of course lose your vitality, the best side of yourself, and for some time you fail to see that you can build a new relationship with someone else in which you actually might feel happy and fulfilled. When you get rejected, you either begin to hate the person, you demonize them, they're narcissistic, they're cruel, enemy-like, or you think they're the most beautiful, wonderful, magnificent soul that you have ever met. They are on a pedestal, godlike human, far away from your reach. Have you experienced this? Have you fallen to these extremes? These emotions are perfectly normal. Don't fight them. It's just your mind's attempt to find the inner balance you lost and get a sense of control. For some time, your brain struggles to accommodate these feelings and you fall into delusions about your person. You forget that they are still a human being like everybody else with their good and bad qualities. I'm not taking into account here truly abusive relationships. We're talking about a typical case of a love story without violence and threat to your life. And you also might think that if your person would be here right now with you physically, somehow your life will be better, brighter, lighter, more interesting. You might chase them hoping to overturn their decision regarding you. But my advice would be don't. If someone is willing to leave you, let them. They aren't for you anymore. Your self-esteem can drop significantly, especially if they left you for someone else. In this case, you need to rediscover yourself and find benefits of being single, and there are lots of them, believe me. When we're in relationships, we're bound to compromise. You cannot just drop everything and move to Hawaii. You have to consider your partner. You might be buried under mortgage, doing a job you actually hate in order to keep up with the bills, or you might be dealing with their relatives you actually have nothing in common with. Maybe your ex wanted children, but you didn't feel ready, and you felt pressure to conceive and undermine your health with IVF. So, by being single, half of your problems might actually disappear. On top of it, you have all the time in the world for yourself and your interests. So while they're in the new relationships, which surely has its own challenges, you become free, independent, and adventurous. Of course, I don't mean that you should become oblivious to your pain. And I also don't suggest jumping into rebound relationships while bleeding inside, because you will just harm another person who doesn't really deserve it. It's not about rushing to be totally happy, but it's about being open to be happy. You still deserve to love and be loved despite the fact that someone has decided you are not for them. The world has many people for whom you're the dream. To overcome a breakup, it's crucial for you to regain your sense of self, feel whole again, and be able to mentally, emotionally, and physically let this person go. You need to get back in touch with your own needs and define your own truth about this relationship, your side of the story. What did you enjoy about this relationship? What were the challenges? What you might do differently in the future? Through these questions, you'll be able to complete the separation process and achieve closure. And the good news, you don't actually need the person to be involved. For example, if they ghosted you, you need to understand that their silence is already an explanation. There's a message in their silence. In therapy, you can reply to your person and make room for your ignored emotions through role play. This restores your ability to feel validated and allows you to understand another person why they might have done it. You begin to see them as a human being like everyone else. They don't hypnotize you anymore. You're free. You set your own norms of justice, honesty, and the human relations, which you can take into your future relationships and make them better and happier. We're always growing, especially when we're challenged. You may think that being dumped is a punishment from universe or something, but in reality, the universe is trying to make you a better person, a more conscious one. By addressing all imperfections of your past connection, it will allow you to avoid same mistakes in the future, and it will allow you to build a relationship on a different level. What concrete steps you should take after a breakup? First of all, take time to grieve. Allow yourself time to process your feelings and to grieve the loss of your relationship. In the end of the day, you are realizing that some part of your life is not going to manifest as you expected, and that's okay. Second, don't neglect your self-care. Especially now, it's very important to take care of yourself. This might include getting good night's sleep, eating well, exercising, meditation, traveling, spending time with friends, and so on. Think about your future and try to focus on the positive aspects of your life and set new goals for yourself. This might include pursuing hobbies or focusing on your career. It has to be something that brings you joy and is not affected by your status and personal life. You can still do it regardless of whether you're single or not. Seek legal advice if needed, especially if you're going through a divorce. It's very important to get a clear understanding of your legal rights and responsibilities. So consider consulting with a lawyer or mediator to help you navigate through the process, and especially if children are involved and custody isn't properly set. Take care of your finances. If you live together, it can have a significant impact on your financial situation. So again, it's important to be honest about your finances and to make a plan for how you will manage your money going forward. Set boundaries with your ex if you're still in touch. This might involve setting limits on communication or establishing rules for co-parenting, or how much you are prepared to listen about the new relationship or tell them about your new relationship. And last but not least, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself and try not to be too hard on yourself. Remember that everyone makes mistakes and has setbacks, and that's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not be okay and discover new layers about yourself. Also, any negative emotion really shows you what you really want. For example, how can you understand that you want peace? You can only understand this when you experience chaos. How can you understand that you're a kind person? You can understand it only when you come across cruelty. How can you understand you want your partner to be an honest person? You understand it only through others being dishonest with you and what it does to you, how it destroys you. These situations shape your values, and your values shape your life. Another thing, when we face some kind of emotional pain, it actually opens up a window for all unsolved hurt to surface. Often dealing with romantic rejection rapidly exposes persons' profound fears that accumulated in their childhood or early adulthood. That's why it's so painful, not necessarily the breakup itself, but everything combined together. If in your childhood you were never good enough, and now you also got dumped, it's like a confirmation that you're a failure. So to win this battle, you need to see it as a complete cleanse, not as some evidence that you're unlovable. Yes, you experience death, transformation, new beginning, you learn who you are, you learn to see the breakup as an opportunity to expand. It's not a confirmation you can't or don't deserve to be happy. See your past relationships not as something that was taken away from you, but something that was given to you, even if it's finished. Real love cannot just disappear. It's not a destination you reach. It's an energy that will breathe forever, adding one layer on top of another. If you loved someone when you were a teenager and then you met someone else at 25, at 35, it doesn't mean your first love was meaningless. If you really love that person, you will have warm feelings for them even decades later. Also remember that the person who dumped you, in fact, also goes through their own turmoil. There may be feelings of guilt, shame, heaviness because they've harmed you. They also become powerless in a way. If they left you, they can't just call you when they feel like it. It makes them look weak and decisive. If you accidentally meet them one day, they may feel awkward, confused. They may feel like they owe you an explanation. But do you see how this overturns their position of power? They're not so powerful anymore, aren't they? And in fact, they also didn't have the opportunity to completely finish a relationship with you. They don't know how you feel. They can only assume. The most common reason to reject someone first is the fear of being rejected. Most likely they have been in your position before. Not necessarily in the face of romantic connection, could be anything. Parents, brother, sister, friend, group of friends. So they leave you before you can leave them. They take this step not out of the motive to destroy you, but out of the desire to preserve their own vulnerability. I'm not justifying their actions, especially if they cheated on you or they were very abusive. They must take responsibility, of course, but I just see from practice the real reason for inadequate rejections, and the real reason is avoiding vulnerability. To simplify it all, everyone, even you and me, is always on the lookout for the best possible and quickest way to happiness. Your person, when they left you or ghosted you, they just thought they can be more happy somewhere else. And that's okay. Learn to be okay with that, with other people being happy somewhere else. It's not that hard really if you practice acceptance, and in fact, it will liberate you. Thank you for joining me today, my wonderful souls. I wish you the strength to leave all chaos behind you and find harmony you deserve. See you soon.